and welcome to another edition of Connecting with Kim. I'm your host, Kim Droege. We're so glad you joined us today. Thank you for tuning in to Tampa Bay Arts and Education Network. And you can also find our show on Sun Radio 96.3 FM on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3:30. So we have another great show for you because, as you know, Connecting with Kim is about connecting you with people, places, and entities that keep you up to date, informed, and living your best life here in Tampa Bay. I'm so proud to introduce my guest today. She's never been on Connecting with Kim with me, so this is like a wonderful, wonderful thing that's happened today. My guest today is Cindy Stuart, who is the Clerk of the Court and the Comptroller for Hillsborough County. Welcome, Cindy, to Connecting with Kim.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
It's a thrill to have you. I mean, as I said, you've never been on my show before, so this is just awesome. Anyone who watches my show regularly or listens to it for the last 2 years knows that I always start out with letting my guests share as much as they want to share about their life journey that led them to the point where we're sitting down together today to have a conversation and a chat about a topic that is passionate and interesting to us both. So take it away.
Thanks. I appreciate that. So my life journey is a little bit different. I spent 10 years getting my college degree. I was ready and prepared to go into the IT world. In fact, went into the IT world, and then somewhere along the way you get married and you decide to have children, and all that goes by the wayside. I was then back in Florida after having left Florida for a little while. I was working heavily with my children at their PTA, at their elementary school, and watching the school board and things that were happening, and said, wow, what are they doing? Why are they doing the things they're doing? And I made the mistake, or blessing, I'm not sure which yet, of saying, I could do that job. And you don't ever say that too loud in front of certain friends, because then they put you in that position. I was elected in 12 as a school board member. I spent 8 years learning every day a lot of things about the operation of the 7th largest district in the nation. Enjoyed that thoroughly. But back in early spring of 2020, I decided to make a leap and do something a little bit different. The current Clerk of the Court, Pat Frank, dear friend of mine and yours,
lovely lady, known her forever,
was retiring after 16 years. I had approached her before about running for this position, and she unfortunately at that time had chosen and had endorsed someone else who very quickly dropped out of the race. So when I called her again, she had said to me, I was going to call you, I was waiting for you to call me. So in late spring of 2020, I threw my name in the hat for that and won that election in August. I am more or less Tampa born and raised. I went to Hillsborough County Public Schools, graduated from Lato High School, go Falcons. In 1985, I have 3 children who have all gone through Hillsborough County Public Schools. One just finished college, so I've got 2 out of college and 1 in college and about to finish, so I'm super pleased with that. But I live here in Hillsborough County. People think Hillsborough County is, and we are, a very large county, 1.4 million residents, but we're also a small town. I know people in this county, from all ends of this county, and people that I grew up with and people that I know, and when something happens, everybody finds out. It's still a small county feel. So I enjoy living here. I live in the Seminole Heights area. Again, my background is in IT, so when I get into the clerk's office and we start talking about IT, I have to kind of back myself up and go, Cindy, that's not your role. You have a very large IT department. We're running a very large office over there, so I'm super excited. We've got a lot of things planned for the next couple of years, and we've made a lot of things happen already.
That you have. And the reason that I asked you to be on the show, I had Pat Frank on the show in the past because I wanted people, I personally think your office, don't be mad at me, other Hillsborough County people. I know you're going to be, but I personally think that the Clerk of the Court and the Comptroller is one of the most, if not the most, important office that you elect in Hillsborough County. And if we went outside the studio right now and asked the next 10 people walking down the street, what does the Clerk of the Court and the Comptroller office do in Hillsborough County? I'm pretty sure their face would just be like, a deer in the headlights. They'd have no idea what the Clerk of the Court and the Comptroller does. And so I think that is where we should start, and then we can branch out into all the wonderful things that you have initiated since you took the office.
Well, thanks. I think we would throw them off a little bit because you would say court, and I think that they would immediately think jury summons.
Exactly.
And we do jury summons. That is one of the functions that we do. We summon about 4,000 people a week to come into jury duty right now, 4 days a week. We're getting ready to back that down a little bit and change our jury schedule, but we used to only bring people in on Mondays. We now do that 4 days a week. So that would be the first thing that I think that they would think of. We handle a lot in courts. So there's a clerk in every single courtroom next to a judge who handles every ounce of paperwork and every ounce of evidence that comes through that courtroom. We take a lot of notes. They are really next to the judge's assistant. We are their other right hand. So a lot of that work that happens over in the courthouse is not happening without a clerk in the courtroom. We also handle everything that is evidence. We handle everything that is records. So any records that come through the system, whether it is that you are filing a tax deed, a new mortgage, whether you have documents to get married, a passport, all of those things are kept in my office. The other side of the house that people don't usually and aren't very familiar with is that we actually manage everything on the county side, on the Board of County Commission's side, for all of their meetings. So all their meeting agendas, all their minutes, all of their voting records all come through my office. I have 2 clerks that sit in every single meeting that the Board of County Commission holds. And I actually have 3 people in that meeting. One is not a clerk, they're just there to manage what's happening and handle any issues that may come up. And then on top of that, we are also the comptroller for the entire county. And what that means really is that we handle everything from receivables and payables for this entire county, as well as all the investments and finance that happens for this county. So it's a big job. We manage a very large budget on that side. That's a $3 billion plus budget, managed by a very large team on that side of the house. So
the depth and breadth and scope of your office is considerable, because when you talk about all those records, I mean, that is tons, millions and millions of megabytes of information.
Yep.
Right?
A lot of it is paper. A lot of it is on fish and microfilm. And we are in the process of uploading and getting into a very digital world. COVID pushed us a lot. It pushed a lot of agencies to move into using digital records and not having to transport a lot of paper. We have a couple of big digitization projects happening right now, but we also have a records warehouse out at the Falkenberg jail that houses all of the paper and all of the big evidence that can't be housed at the courthouse. So it's a big operation.
Well, I feel very fortunate because, well, number one, I was summoned for jury duty recently, and wonderful people to work with. I mean, honestly, what a smooth operation that was the day I got to the courthouse, the Edgecombe courthouse. But secondly, that you know, just talking about the data and holding the records and the evidence, I mean, it's just incredible to me. The sheer volume of that is just, you know, I can't even imagine how big that is, actually. But you've covered it beautifully, what the clerk of the court and the comptroller does. So let's talk about, you took over and you are already putting your stamp and your mark on the office, which I think is wonderful. And so let's talk about some of those initiatives.
Sure. So again, Pat Frank was there for 16 years, and prior to that, the prior clerk, Richard Ake, was there for a number of years too. When I took office, I knew that I had very big shoes to fill. In fact, some people were very concerned about, like, where do you go from here with this office, because the office was running very smoothly. Pat had put a lot of money into technology. Literally, when COVID happened, my employees were able to pick up a laptop and go home. So the technology was there, we were able to do that, but that doesn't mean there's not always room for improvement. There is a laundry list of projects in our IT division that is, we have a 5-year plan for projects that need to be done that modernize how we present things to our customers. So my office, we've kind of switched our culture a little bit to be a lot more customer based and forward facing. We're a forward facing office, and I always say that to my employees, look, look, no matter what you do, the customer is your first person that you're coming in contact with, and that's how we have to treat them, meet them where they are, and treat them that way as well. So we're spending a lot of time figuring out where the low-hanging fruit is and things that we can improve. But we spend a lot of time in technology too. A majority of our budget goes towards improving technological things for our offices. So we've done some remodeling, we've done some rebranding. The seal for the clerk's office for Hillsborough County has not been changed for a very, very long time. So we spent quite a bit of time actually redesigning the seal and redesigning some of the color schemes and refreshing some of our customer service forward-facing areas so they're a little more friendly when people come in. We've recently reopened our Brandon office, which shut down after COVID. And that's been, I had people waiting to go back to work in our Brandon office, and now the Brandon area is starting to realize we're back open. We were shut down for so long. But there's still so much that you can do online. You don't have to come to the clerk's office if you don't want to. There's so much that you can do online because of COVID and the things that we've done to improve our customer service base on that side.
How many employees does the clerk of the court and comptroller function have totally?
So we employ roughly around 465 employees.
Okay.
2/3 of those employees are on the court side.
Okay.
And the other third are on the county side, either in administration or in county finance or in IT. But the majority of my people are on the court side, and people probably don't realize how many people we have over on that side of the house that work either in a courtroom or behind the scenes. Remember, we handle everything from adoptions that come through the courts to domestic violence injunctions to Baker Acts and Marchment Acts. I mean, all of that is being handled by my staff on that side.
Well, I'm getting a bird's eye view, I must say, because I serve on Andrew Warren's Community Council, Community Advisory Council, and we meet every other month on a Tuesday. I wish I could stay on that council forever, I'll be honest with you, but I don't think that's going to be possible because they like to rotate people through that, which is understandable. I have learned so much, but our next meeting in May, and this show's going to be beyond that, but we're going to get a back behind the scenes view of the clerk of the court, and I can't wait for that. I'm just so interested. So yeah, I don't think people really realize, like you said.
You should have come early to our Take Your Child to Work Day. You could have gotten a little preview where we took them into the holding cells and took them into the evidence room and took them into a courtroom, and they had a mock trial, and so.
Well, you can invite me for the next time, right? I'm happy to come as your child or somebody's child.
That was
no
a
problem.
fun day. That was the first time Judge Peroni actually headed that up, and we brought that back after 2 years and had over 100 kids in the courthouse that day, so it was a great day.
I bet it was a great day.
Long day, but
long day, great day. If you're just joining us now on Connecting with Kim, my guest in the chair today is Cindy Stuart, who is the clerk of the court and also the comptroller for Hillsborough County. And personally, I feel one of the most important offices that you're ever going to vote for. And so you really should understand what they do, and that's why she's with us today. So we've talked about the size of the office, some of the changes that you've made, the duties and responsibilities that you cover, which are substantial. But I want to spend some time on some of the initiatives that you have started since you became, you took this position in 2020.
Right. So again, like I said, a lot of the stuff we're doing is customer based. So we actually found through a very early survey of our employees and external stakeholders that as you know, Hillsborough County is majority Hispanic. So we spend a lot of time having Hispanic individuals who don't speak any English come to our front counters or call on the phone. So we started an incentive program whereby our employees can sign up to be a translator in whatever area they're working, which the way that it was working before was they would just get up from their desk and go and help. Well, so much of the work we do is based on your workflow and how much you're accomplishing for the day and working in queues. It was taking away from the work at their desk to get up and go and help another employee who didn't speak Spanish or be able to translate. So we started that. It's been a great addition to our work. We recently opened the Clerk's Table, which is a food pantry. Our employees Unfortunately, we're at $15+ an hour, but like most government agencies, we're funded in a way that it's very difficult to offer much more. One car breakdown or one, couple of days out of work because you have a sick child really can make the difference between putting food on the table or not. So we are offering this opportunity for partnering with Feeding Tampa Bay, allowing our employees to come in and shop for food if they need to, if they're having a rough week. Spring break was a big deal for people who are used to having their children in school all week, and now they're home and eating 3 meals a day. So we also do a lot of work with them in collecting for Feeding Tampa Bay and volunteer opportunities for our employees. My employees are amazing. They jump at any opportunity to be in the community. We've participated in not only Feeding Tampa Bay, but multiple parades. And I know at some point, sometimes we have to say, okay, we're at 50 people. We can't have any more parade goers. We planned a holiday event. This year we're planning a big picnic for the employees. So really very much changing the culture to, again, my slogan, as you know, is we get to yes. As long as it's legal, we can find a way to get to yes, and that's really what it's about, whether it's for employees or constituents, but finding a way to get to yes.
But all of those events that you're doing are extremely important because they foster teamwork, they foster camaraderie, they foster a sense of belonging, and they foster appreciation. People say, my boss appreciates me, and they're showing it in a very tangible way. That's lovely, and I love the people at Feeding Tampa Bay. I've had them on the show, and they're just phenomenal.
Great opportunity for us to work with them. So lots of other things that we have planned that are coming up. We did a very large wedding in the park on Valentine's Day.
I know.
That's
so awesome.
It was great. It was came off flawlessly. Lots of couples very excited to be able to do that. We're doing that again in June. We're going to have one for Pride Month, so we're really excited about that. Registration for that is open. We started doing, with everyone coming back and starting to travel again, we realized that we had a lot of people calling and trying to get in and have passports done, renew passports or do new passports. And if you have children and you've ever done a passport, you know that you have to have your children physically with you to get passports for them. And it's difficult if your children are in school to take time off to come in and do passports. So we started doing quarterly passport Saturdays. They've been very popular.
I can see from your face.
Yes.
And, one thing I love too is you guys are all over social media, and I think that's really important too, because now you are also reaching out in a very tangible way to Hillsborough County and beyond, and showing them all the wonderful things that you're doing.
Right. We are working really hard on our social media presence between LinkedIn and Facebook and our email address and stuff that is out there. So we're excited about that too. But Plant City just did their first Passport Saturday this weekend, and Brandon, and then our offices down here. 200 passports that are going to be issued over the coming weeks. So I think we're going to make that a quarterly event. It's so popular with people wanting to travel and wanting to, which is great to see.
It's great to see. And we should. You and I were talking about this before we went on air about a mutual friend, and I think we should take a moment and say to everyone, people, if you have a passport, 6 months before the expiration date of your passport, and I've had a passport ever since I can remember because I've lived and traveled internationally my whole life. 6 months before your passport expires, you cannot use it anymore. You have to have a passport that is more current. So don't forget that, because people get caught by that all the time. They think, well, I'm just hopping over here for a week, or I'm going there for a couple of days. No. They don't make an exception, do they?
No, they don't. And passports, right now, they're not taking as long to issue, but we were at a point where they were taking anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks to come out. And people don't realize we don't actually issue the passport. We collect all the documents and send them out of state. The only two places that are close by that actually issue passports are Miami-Dade County, and you can fly to New Orleans if you'd like to get a passport in the same day. Right. But even that is a very difficult process.
It takes all day.
Exactly.
I've been subjected to it in Chicago, so I can tell you it takes all day.
Process.
So, all day.
So planning ahead is really important, and I think that's part of the reason we've been doing kind of this event. So yeah, really excited about some of the stuff that we've been doing. We held our first annual State of the Clerk in January at our 1-year anniversary of being installed into office, which was great to be able to share with everyone, you know, the changes that we've made in branding and logo and the things that look very different in the clerk's office, and the things that we're moving towards. So excited about that. I'm excited that we have such great partners. I have great partners in my work, I will tell you. Hillsborough County is like no other. So for those of you who are new to the community, you'll go other places and you'll hear that the sheriff and the public defender don't get along, that the clerk doesn't get along with her county commission. Well, that is not the case here in Hillsborough County. We are very fortunate that those of us who are elected in Hillsborough County make a real point of understanding that our work is for the community and we get along very well. If I say that I need to call the mayor or that I need to call the sheriff, I have their personal cell phone numbers and they have mine. It's a very respectful and healthy relationship between the constitutional officers. We meet quarterly for lunch. It's a very no agenda lunch, and it's just a gathering of us. Hey, good to see you. Are you okay? Do you need anything? We're doing a lot of work with a lot of our partners. I have right now a huge data share modernization project that I'm working on with the Sheriff's Office and the Public Defender and the 13th Judicial. So great opportunity for us we share a lot of data. I hold the data, they need it, and how they get to it is important. It's important that we're able to respond quickly to them. So we're working with the tax collector to make things easier for our constituents. When you go to the tax collector and you have to get your driver's license renewed, if you have tickets or fines you have to pay, right now you can't pay them. You need to then go back downstairs 13 floors and walk 3 blocks the other way to pay your fee or fine, and then come back to her office to get your driver's license renewed. So her and I are going to fix that, and it'll be one-stop shopping for everyone. We're really excited about that project.
I'm so you know, I had no idea you guys were getting together quarterly like that, but
yes.
I'm so excited to know that. I think that's wonderful. I can attest to the fact that they get along because I'm a board member of Tampa Tiger Bay, and we have the county folks in, you know, periodically, and I can tell you from personal experience that it's not fake. They do actually get along and like each other. But that's wonderful to know because you all have customers and constituents that you're answering to, and the more you help each other do that job better, the better it is for everybody.
Right. It's a blessing to be elected into this role, but especially to be elected into a role that is respected by all of them. We do have a very healthy respect for each other, and I go to conferences all the time with my clerks across the state, and it's not the same. And it's difficult to hear from other clerks that they don't have that relationship with either their Board of County Commission or their sheriff or their public defender or even their chief judge sometimes. So we have a great relationship, and it does not make it difficult to get good work done, which is what good government's about.
Absolutely. We only have a couple of minutes left, so I want to make sure that we cover anything that you want to share with our watching and listening audience before we have to sign off. So is there anything we haven't covered that you wanted to impart?
Well, I just want to say that the services of my office are available 24/7. So our online applications and our online hillsclerk.com is very, very easy to navigate. A lot of the services that you need are available 24/7, including domestic violence injunctions. We have people staffed downtown all the time, even on the weekends. So if you have that service and you need that service, it is very easy to get in touch with our office and handle those things. Sometimes you don't even have to go anywhere. You can handle everything online or through a phone call, including payments, including pretty soon your jury summons. You'll get a text message on whether or not you actually have to come down.
Yes.
So yes, we're
that would
moving
be a big
in that
improvement.
direction. It's a huge improvement. We started a lot of text text messaging this year, and we started in our domestic violence area where when you file a summons, you don't even have to come back to the courthouse to get your documents. You actually get a text message and you get all of your documents on your phone. So that if anything happens between your filing and the actual, needing that information to provide to law enforcement, you have it on your phone. You're not carrying around a large envelope of paperwork. So it's been very well received. So we're excited. We're excited to see the legislative session that comes up this coming year. We have big plans for this year as well. Last year we worked very closely with Senator Cruz to pass a domestic violence injunction bill that allowed for, and you will laugh at this probably, or it requires now that all injunctions are emailed across county lines to Sheriff's Office. Before that, the legislation read that it had to be mailed or faxed. I'm
not going to laugh at that.
Yeah, I would pay you money to find a fax machine in my office right now. We don't have any. So mail or fax is no longer the method by which those, and really the legislation was about victims. It's really about changing how much time there is between the filing of an injunction and actually the serving of an injunction. So Janet and I are very, very proud of what happened there. I'm waiting for the governor's signature on that. Hopefully by the time you air, we'll be good to go on that. But we're super excited. A lot of changes that can happen in legislatively for our offices and how the clerks operate and what we do. So I'm excited about that.
Well, I can't thank you enough for being my guest today on Connecting with Kim. My guest today has been Cindy Stuart, who is the Clerk of the Court and the Comptroller for Hillsborough County. She's a constitutionally elected officer and has what I consider to be one of the most important, if not the most important, office in county government. So thank you again.
Thank you.
We'll hope you come back and join us again sometime on Connecting with Kim. So that's all we have time for today. Thank you for joining us today on Tampa Bay Arts and Education Network for Connecting with Kim, where we strive to bring you information about people, places, and things that you need to know about to be informed and up to date and living your best life in Hillsborough County and in the Tampa Bay area. And we'll be back again next week. You can catch our show on Sun Radio Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3:30, as well as twice a week on TBAE. And of course, you can access us anytime at watch.tbae.net. And like us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Also follow Tampa Bay Arts and Education Network on social media because they are where it's happening. Thank you. See you next week.